Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western practical astrologer, and I am here today to talk about the Capricorn personality. So looking at the personal planets in the sign of Capricorn and the Capricorn Rising. The personal planets being the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus and Mars, so stay tuned. However, before we do dive into today's video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and click the bell. And if you are interested in any of my services, then you can visit my website hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology ebooks, guide and merch. All the links will be in the description box down below. I do hope that you find this video to be helpful today. Let's do this. Okay, so before we do get into this, please let us know your Capricorn placements in the comment section down below, and if you resonate with your placements, I would love to know. Okay, so to begin, just looking at the Capricorn personality overall, if you have a Capricorn personality, you are practical, patient, responsible, and realistic. You are people who grew up quite quickly because you had to. Such reasons for growing up quickly include looking after a parent or your siblings, etc., being very skilled within a particular area, being pushed by your parents to achieve, your parents divorcing, a parent dying, or having to fend for yourself because your parents' attention was elsewhere. Naturally, the outcomes of such events are going to differ from person to person, but there is a theme of, okay, it's time to get your act together. You must take responsibility. Perhaps you would get told how mature you were for your age. And so you developed these skills of determination, perseverance, commitment, and duty. You were also taught to respect your parents and to even respect your elders, even if at times you didn't feel like they were worthy of your respect. Though just following on from this point, some of you might have had quite an estranged relationship with your father. Maybe he wasn't the most affectionate, or he worked a lot, or he abandoned you physically or emotionally. Some of you might not have known your father at all, or for others of you, he was demanding, controlling, critical, and pessimistic. However, there are others of you who experienced a father who was dedicated, responsible, disciplined, and successful. Perhaps he was a mix of all of these qualities and you experienced him in different ways. And come to think of it here, there are those of you who grew up with your grandparents, so they may have played a valuable role within your life, perhaps because of abandonment or because they wanted to support you. But still, there does seem to be a common thread of you having to parent yourself. So just drawing from my own experience, so I have a Capricorn stellium. I am a Capricorn dominant person, and my dad growing up worked a lot. But I didn't really feel an emotional connection with my dad. My parents really wanted me to go to university and to get a really good job, but they didn't really listen to what I wanted. It was more about how they thought my life should go. But then I grew to consider what I wanted rather than following what my parents wanted. Now, whilst there are plenty of you who may relate to this, there may also be many of you who value tradition and following the structure of your parents. And that's okay too. But essentially, there was this feeling of following the rules and committing to your long-term path, either in a positive or negative way. And the thing about this too is growing up fast meant sacrificing your childhood. It meant less play, less fun, less time for spontaneity and being carefree, and taking on many responsibilities and tasks, commitments and duties. Well, such things may have led to a lot of pressure, more work, more of this push to do, and to do mindlessly. And this right here leads me on to something about the Capricorn symbol, which I think is so important to bring up. So the symbol of Capricorn is the sea goat, this half fish, half goat. Now, one part is tied to the sea and then the other part is tied to the land. And in the mythology of Capricorn, well, the mythology of Capricorn is connected to the story of the sea goat, Pricus. I could be pronouncing that incorrectly, probably am. Still, Pricus lived in the sea close to the shore, and he had the ability to think and speak. And he discovered that his children would swim to the shore, they would climb up, and they wanted to really bathe in the sun. But when they did this, they would evolve into regular goats. But as a result, they would lose their ability to think and speak. They turned into mindless animals. So how does this story relate to you, Capricorn? Of course, I haven't told the complete myth, but just from this part of the story. Well, something my therapist told me is that people who mindlessly work excessively are typically dead inside. And when I think about this, what comes to my mind is how you can push so hard, you can insist on controlling a situation, you might overexert yourself, perhaps subconsciously, because inside you are hurting, because inside you feel like you need to prove a point, you need emotional support, you're trying to fill a void. This part of you that wants to be loved, or this part of you that wanted care and affection, but didn't receive it. So I think that as you evolve, you grow to become someone who recognizes your dedication and your hard work as very beneficial and remarkable, might I add. But at the same time, you don't turn to your achievements and your accomplishments as a way to run away from your true feelings and emotions. You grow to tap into your intuition, your spiritual wisdom, and your inner strength. And my goodness, when you implement both the physical with the spiritual, both the practical with the emotional, you stand in your power. When you move away from the mindless search for recognition and success, and you step into the conscious version of it, where you have dove into your subconscious, you bring so much to the world. After all, it's you who cares deeply about your purpose. You want to do significant things in the world, very important things, and you're more than willing to put in the work, the time, and the energy, but you do so then with intention, direction, and integrity. You don't take shortcuts. You don't take the easy route. It's about being honorable and respecting yourself. No get rich quick schemes, please. Besides, what smucks, huh? These people who have so much money, but they have no idea what to do with it. Oh yeah, you know how money can change people. You don't give in to the glitz and the glamour. It's about honesty and staying true to yourself. Now, on the other hand, of course, there can be Capricorns who are ruthless, okay? They can be unfeeling, uncaring, and perhaps you can even go through these types of moments in your life. So this whole notion of being ruthless as you make your way to the top, or being demanding as you sort of push for success. But the thing about this is Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, and Saturn is all about karma, and so it's good to consider the consequences of your actions, because later on you may find that things come back around. Though the thing about this too that I want to add is that you usually do achieve great things, amazing things in the world. It can take you years to get there, and you'll be met with delays, setbacks, and resistance, many moments of self-doubt and disbelief. You certainly aren't going to be a success overnight. But when you reach your mountain of success, the amount of wisdom you have to share is incredible. The wealth of knowledge you have to share, the greater insights. You mature by understanding what it means to be successful. You mature with this understanding of what it means to have a purpose. It's not just about money and materials. It's about mastering your craft. It's about being disciplined and being rewarded, finding the reward in discipline and self-control, and at the same time being able to surrender, being able to let go of control and to accept what is. Now, don't get me wrong, you also do deeply care about your security, you care about your reputation, and so you're going to be smart about these things. But I think that as you grow, you recognize that there is more to life than just wealth and materials and having all of these items which we can take for granted. You grow to turn your attention to more humanitarian projects, you consider the greater whole, you also become much more innovative and inventive, and you're willing to challenge the rules, to question the rules. So this could look like you questioning your parents, like I did. Or this could look like you questioning the status quo, so questioning why certain laws are in place. Some of you may stay true to your traditions and then question progressive views, but then others of you may question the traditional views whilst trying out new ways of doing things. But essentially, it's you who grows to see things from a much larger perspective. After all, you just climbed a mountain and now you can see the world from above. All right, so let's get into the personal planets and the rising in Capricorn. Let's begin by looking at the Capricorn Rising. So if you have a Capricorn Rising, when other people first meet you, they are greeted with these qualities of responsibility, respect, discipline, and practicality. The way you walk or move throughout the day can appear structured and calculated, as if you are moving with a plan in mind. Then again, you can also appear rigid and stiff. You can appear quite serious to others, like you have something very, very important to be doing. And like I said, you can come across as quite responsible, and often you take on the responsible role. This role where you're in charge. You're the one organizing things and you're making sure that everything is running smoothly. Perhaps you were raised to be responsible and sensible, or maybe it's that you have a very set way of doing things, a very set way of approaching new situations. But as you grow, you learn to color outside of the lines from time to time. You switch things up and you let go of serious order. Some days you may feel accomplished, like you've got this, I can do this. But then other days you can be very fearful, overly cautious and pessimistic. It really depends on the day, it depends on your mood. Perhaps people even often tell you how ambitious, how independent and how hardworking you are, or how dedicated you are. Or maybe they tell you that you need to relax, okay? You need time to put your feet up. Of course, this is the first house, and the first house is the house of I am. Now, it's also important to locate your chart ruler, which is Saturn, because it will give you more information about your setbacks, maturity, about your lifelong wisdom, and it will also provide you with information about your purpose, your ambitions, and your long-term goals. Essentially, your journey of self-discovery is tied to your self-mastery, your commitments, and your successes. The Sun in Capricorn. Okay, so we are taking this hardworking and honorable sign and we're connecting it with ego, confidence, individuality, and attention, suggesting that you want to be recognized for your hard work, for your integrity, for your purpose. But the key is to not force such things on others and to make sure that you don't take any shortcuts. It's about being steady and not giving in to temptations that tell you to do anything sneaky, immoral, criminal, or dishonest. Because if you do, you will pay the price. You will live with the consequences. Now, this isn't to say that you can't turn things around, okay? Because perhaps you can, though I suppose it does depend on the situation, realistically speaking. But my point is, you seek to be some type of authority or expert or professional within your desired area. And in order to get there, it's about showing integrity. It's about putting in the time. It's about committing to yourself and respecting yourself and others. Naturally, there are some people who do not deserve your respect, and that's when you place those boundaries in. You consider your boundaries. Still, you can be such successful people, especially when it comes to your interests, when it comes to your creativity, but you also learn the importance of dedication and discipline. Plus, you learn the importance of removing your ego from situations and to instead be open to failure, be open to mistakes and learning from your mistakes. Be open to the idea that you can't control your life path and that many times in life, things do not go according to plan. Things happen unexpectedly. Things happen surprisingly. And that's okay. And I think such realizations provide you with a new meaning of purpose. And the thing about this too, just looking at it from the other way, you still feel good when you reach your mountain of success. What an amazing feeling to know that you made it, to know that you did it, you achieved something that you put so much hard work into. Now your identity and your pride might actually be tied to your victories, to your successes. But be cautious of the steps you take to get there and consider the people who join you, the people who love you, the people who share your successes with you, and the people you meet along the way. And also, I want to say that when you're younger, you might struggle with your confidence, you might really struggle with your sense of identity, you might experience ego blockages, but as you mature, you accept and love yourself. Naturally, make sure to consider aspects being made to the sun, or if you have any other placements that can make things quite different for you, but still, you express qualities of realism, responsibility, authority, and being dedicated, and your very purpose is tied to these things. Now, do also make sure to consider the house that your sun in Capricorn is in, because this will tell you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. The moon in Capricorn. All right, so this is where we notice the most sensitive and private qualities of the Capricorn traits. Meaning, internally, you are disciplined, dedicated, and responsible. You need to feel like there is order and structure and control in your life. And if you are to feel emotionally secure, you need to feel like you have a purpose. There is an emotional need here for success, whatever success looks like to you. And I think it involves security, having enough materials, and having enough money to support yourself and to also support your family, your loved ones. And so you'll plan very, very carefully when it comes to these things. You'll want to do things responsibly. And when you reach your mountain of success, knowing as well that you can support your loved ones, how rewarding, how fulfilling. Indeed, you are inwardly ambitious, very ambitious. However, let's just address the elephant in the room here, and that is that the moon is in detriment in this sign, okay? So suggesting that the moon in Capricorn isn't the most comfortable. I mean, the moon is tied to our emotions and our feelings and providing unconditional love. But Capricorn is the sign tied to status, hard work and recognition, and it's very much based on conditions, rules, and boundaries. Suggesting what? Suggesting that often you can feel like you aren't deserving of emotional support or care or nurturance, or like things like care and support from others, that they come with conditions. Or this could look like you not communicating your feelings or not processing your emotions because you look at them through a lens of usefulness. So how useful are they? How practical are they? Some of you might even suffer from depression or loneliness because you don't want to burden others with your feelings. Others of you could have grown up with this message of having to deal with your emotions on your own. Though on the other hand, of course, here you could be the most amazing supportive figures for other people who need support. And whilst you're not the most emotional, you can still be really helpful, really practical. You'll want to provide practical support in any way you can. You deeply care about your loved ones, and you'll take on this committed and responsible role within your friendship groups, within your family, and so on. You'll act as this anchor for your partners, for your relatives. Naturally, do also consider the aspects being made to your Capricorn Moon as well as other placements, though essentially you are instinctively businesslike, reliable, self-reliant, and hardworking. And whilst you can experience times when you often see the glass as half empty, well, you can also experience times when you see how being realistic can be so useful. Now, do also make sure to consider the house that your moon in Capricorn is in, because this will show you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. Mercury in Capricorn, you are a practical communicator, a responsible and dedicated learner, and a respectable teacher. Your mind stays busy when it comes to being productive and getting things done. You can be pretty business minded, and you'll consider the long haul. You'll think about the steps needed in order to reach a certain level of success, and you'll strive to focus your mind and to be dedicated to a plan or a goal. You can be a rather pragmatic and realistic thinker, and when it comes to learning a new subject or topic, you aim to be in it for a long time. You will not give up easily, and you can be disciplined. However, it's also likely that it can take you a while to really grasp a certain idea or concept. I know for me, I have Saturn conjunct Mercury, and it can take me a while, well, a long time, to really learn something new, to properly take it in and to understand it as well. And also, I plan things out. I can have the tendency of planning out what I want to say within conversations. I even plan out my videos. There's structure to the videos. I write scripts. I want things to be well structured. I want things to be a very specific way. But at the same time, I can be quite rigid. And so for you, perhaps you can relate. So this likelihood of you being somewhat structured within conversations, but at the same time coming across as too stiff, too rigid, leaving little room for spontaneity. Still, you aim to be responsible when it comes to education and communication matters. And whilst you strive to be a great listener, it depends on who you're talking to. Perhaps people who talk too fast, it's hard for you to listen to what they're saying or to take in what they're saying. I know for me, I find it challenging to listen to people who talk really, really fast. Maybe you're interested in the likes of business, teaching, management, architecture, archaeology, or history. And let's not forget about your dry humor. You can be very witty, but you can appear sarcastic. And when it comes to the likes of driving, commuting, and moving throughout your local city or neighborhood, you can be cautious, but maybe a little bit too cautious. Maybe you try to be sensible on the road, or you prefer to take a very specific route because you don't like taking new routes. You might also be quite skeptical about certain places and venues. Your fears could very well impact your decision making. Now, on the other hand, when attending certain events, you know what you like. You have certain standards and you seek great quality. And so you know which restaurants and cafes, etc. suit you. Then again, perhaps you can also have certain expectations, and when events do not live up to your expectations, you can become somewhat disappointed. Naturally, do also consider the aspects being made to your Capricorn Mercury as well as other placements. But overall, you are structured, realistic, and disciplined when it comes to the likes of writing, speaking, and media. You want your words to come across as important, and you want to be respected for what you share and say. And you're up for providing practical advice. Now, do also make sure to consider the house that your Mercury in Capricorn is in, because this will tell you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. Hi, it's me again. So I just wanted to inform you about the practical astrology guide that I have created. So it is a 20-day practical astrology guide, and it covers the ins and outs of astrology, looking also at how a natal chart is created. It touches on the astrological ages, it looks at astronomy as well, and also looking at those practical representations of the 7 classical planets and the angular points. So if you are someone who is interested in astrology, you're new to it, even if you are an astrology student or you're an astrologer, because we can all learn something different from each other, I definitely recommend this guide. My whole intention with this guide is that you will walk away from it thinking of astrology hopefully practically and also differently. And my major key aim really with this guide is using the stars for self-awareness. So learning about astrology, but also learning more about yourself and learning more about other people. Plus, it is super affordable, costing only about £2 per day. Though, if you are interested in just a little taster, so looking at you dipping your toes into what this guide is all about, that is available for you as well. Venus in Capricorn. Okay, so we're taking this cautious, accomplished, and practical sign, and we are applying it to your relationships, your resources, and your finances. And so when it comes to love, for example, you seek security. You consider the practical side of relationships and you want your relationships to succeed. And so you're going to show great dedication toward them. You're going to work really hard at them, put in a lot of effort. However, what often happens is you could assume a parental role within your relationships. So this could look like you parenting a friend or a lover or a colleague, and you feel like it's your responsibility to remind them of their responsibilities and their duties. Some of you may even attract younger or more immature lovers who subconsciously look to you as a parental figure, and you subconsciously take on that role. But then others of you might attract older and more mature people who seem to have their life together. These people who seem responsible, perhaps they are wealthy or they're business minded. But overall, you want a relationship based on respect, commitment, and integrity. You want a partner who knows what they want out of life. Someone with a purpose, someone with their own long-term goals and aspirations. You know, they're striving for these things, just like you have your own goals. And also someone who adds value to your life. You can actually be quite an old soul as well when it comes to love. You seek a love that withstands the hands of time, someone you can grow old with. I mean, I have Venus in Capricorn and I can certainly relate to this. However, there are those of you who might view relationships through a lens of usefulness. So once a person is no longer useful to you, you get rid of them. Then again, you also possess this very emotional side where you can pour so much of your heart and so much of your soul into the relationship. And at the same time, you're realistic, you're practical. So if something isn't working, you can recognize it and be mature about it. Essentially, when it comes to the relationship side of things, you want your relationships to be everlasting, but you're also willing to address those harder topics, those more serious subjects within your relationships. And so you're going to be cautious, you're going to be careful about the types of partners and friends you choose. Now, the same thing could also be said here when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your earning potential, your resources. And so you'll work really hard in order to create greater financial security. And you earn money with purpose, with intention. You'll also experience hardships and setbacks and lessons when it comes to these areas, even the areas of relationships, okay? When you're younger, that is. But as you mature, you find what works best for you. Now, you might be talented at business, management, investing. You can also be gifted at planning, building, and bringing form to things. And so you'll plan things out when it comes to money, when it comes to your resources. Naturally, do also consider the aspects being made to your Capricorn Venus as well as other placements, though essentially you seek a secure foundation when it comes to your relationships. You want a love that is timeless and rewarding. Plus, you value your dedication, your hard work, and your purpose. You also strongly value respect from your partners, colleagues, and relatives, and so on. And if they are disrespectful toward you, you can be very quick to create a boundary. Now, I do also make sure to consider the house that your Venus in Capricorn is in, because this will tell you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. And lastly, Mars in Capricorn. Alright, so let's just address the very obvious, and that is that Mars is exalted in this sign. Now, I have this placement, and I just want to say that it is my favorite placement. No, but seriously, with Mars being exalted here, this suggests that you really take your time when it comes to achieving your goals. You are patient, you persevere, and you do not give up easily, okay? Even though you struggle with intense moments of self-doubt and fear and pessimism, there is this fighting warrior spirit within you that says, stand up, keep going, don't just stop because of one hurdle, because of one setback, because of one mistake. Don't even give it up because of 20 of them. You will overcome those hurdles by putting one foot in front of the other. And you don't have to get there overnight. In fact, you know that you're not going to get there overnight. But when you settle into accepting the long road ahead, you steadily and gradually get one step closer to your goal, whatever the goal may be. Your patience is your key to success, your key to winning and achieving, even your perseverance. Now, on the other hand, okay, there can be some challenges with this placement, such as you overworking yourself or not knowing when the time is right to go or when the time is right to stop. You'll make plenty of mistakes along the way, and you'll learn about the importance of giving credit when credit is due. And I also think that you learn that respect is to be earned, and you learn how to pivot well, how to get the timings right when it comes to things. So you'll commit to a plan or a project, and with time, other people may start to respect you because they see the evidence. They can see the clear evidence of your hard work, and they recognize your hard work. And as well, it's about the small wins that keep you going. I know for me, I have learned to celebrate the small wins along the way to a big win. Maybe things like dedication, overcoming, business, professionalism, organization, planning and building. All of these types of things inspire you. They motivate you. Reaching your long-term goals as well is a huge motivation for you. Just thinking about how you're going to feel when you reach your mountain of success, when you accomplish something. However, I also think that as you grow, you learn the importance of considering others. See, there can be a part of you that is ruthless, unforgiving, cold, and very, very critical. And you might think that you don't need others whilst you're sort of pushing for success. You push everybody else out of the way. But you learn that in fact, you do need others, and that you do need people to respect you, and that human connection is important. Also, thinking about anger here, you can be pretty slow to anger. You try to remain level-headed, but when people test you, when they push you, you can show these cold and unforgiving traits. You can also be quite bossy and demanding. Maybe you can even act in these types of ways even when you're not angry, where you really try to control a situation. But as you grow, I think you learn to let go of control, and you instead accept other people's ways of doing things. You grow to be somewhat more chilled and accepting of other people's differences instead of being super rigid. Oh, and you also learn that your actions matter in the long run. There are consequences to your actions. Such realizations help you mature and grow up real quick. Naturally, do also consider aspects being made to your Capricorn Mars as well as other placements here, though essentially you make for ambitious teachers, builders, planners, managers, business owners, professionals, government workers, and legal workers. And you are so level-headed and patient when it comes to clients, friends, lovers, and colleagues, and so on. Do also make sure to consider the house that your Mars in Capricorn is in, because this will tell you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video talking about the Capricorn personality. Please do let me know if you find this video to be helpful today, and if you resonated with your placements as well. I would really appreciate that. And again, let us know your Capricorn placements down below and your thoughts and your opinions on today's video. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and also give this video a like if you did like it today. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!